I'm infant massage instructor Helen Thompson. Hello and welcome to First Time Mums Chat. Being a parent for the first time is challenging and changes your life in every way imaginable. To help ease your transition into parenthood, I aim to offer supportive, holistic approaches and insights for mums of babies aged 4 weeks to 10 months old. My goal is to assist you to become the most confident parent you can and smooth out the bumps along the way. This podcast is brought to you by My Baby Massage, so let's do this together. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Please contact a medical practitioner if you are concerned or have any medical issues. As a first-time mum, it is a daunting task getting all the things you need for your baby before they come into the world. And nappies are one of those. Do I buy disposables or cloth nappies? Well, nappies have come a long way from the old terry toweling squares of the yesteryear. I remember when I first trained in the 80s, the square nappies that we had to learn to fold in so many different ways, and also the dreaded pins that we had to put in, and of course the plastic pants on the top. What a palaver it was then. My parents used those kind of nappies, which I must say were very, very great, very, very good for the environment. Over the years, parents have been asking me, which is better, cloth or disposables? Well, there is no right or wrong answer to this question. It comes down to personal choice. For most mums, it comes down to the cost and the environment and what is easy for you and your family. So in this podcast, I'm going to cover topics to help you make your choice a little easier. These topics include what to look for in a nappy, the fit and comfort for your baby, for example, ease of movement, absorbency of the nappy, what suits you and your lifestyle, and of course considering the environment, the different types of nappy of both disposable and cloth versus disposable and what's the difference, and pros and cons, and also there are some hidden costs which I will mention too. So to help figure it all out, let's look at each option in a little more detail. Cloth nappies. These days, cloth nappies include fastenings and involve multiple layers. In fact, there are a lot of different types. These include cloth squares, pre-folds, fitted nappies, pocket nappies, and all-in-ones. So let's start with the cloth squares. These are generally made of terry toweling. These cloth nappies need to be specially folded and fastened with a pin and work best with plastic pants. And these are a bit of a pain and there's not much movement there for your baby. Pre-folds, they are made of soft layers of fabric and are folded over and into a pad shape, and they are placed inside a fitted leak-proof cover. One of the advantages of this type is that they are a reasonable price and they are not too bulky and they dry quickly. The disadvantage of these are that they are less absorbent and they may not give your baby a lot of movement because they are a little bit bulky, but they're not as bulky as the cloth square ones. Fitted nappies. These are also known as contoured or shaped nappies. They're usually fastened with Velcro or studs and have a leak-proof cover. Some of them also have an absorbent cover. They are easy to change, but they are slower to dry and can be more expensive than cloth nappies and pre-folds. They are better as they are quick and easy to use and they allow a lot of movement for your growing baby. Pocket nappies. The name is as it suggests. They have a leak-proof outer shell and a soft layer that includes a pocket where you insert a pad to absorb the liquid. Bamboo pads are soft on the skin and absorb the moisture well. I will be giving you a link to a good site that I found that sell these kind of nappies. These are a good option as they are relatively easy to dry. You do need to take out the insert before washing, but the good news is you can wash the inserts in with the nappies. And as I previously mentioned, they are quick to dry, which is a great advantage in these modern times. The all-in-ones are great. They're sometimes known as snap ones. They have a leak-proof shell and one or more absorbent layers that snap in, which you can take apart for washing, which is a great advantage. They can also expand as your baby grows, so you do not need to buy more nappies when your baby gets to the toddler age. And they also give you a baby a lot of movement, so they're not very bulky because you can squeeze them in tight with the poppers. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons of cloth nappies. So let's start with the pros. They're eco-friendly and you do not need as many nappies as you do with disposables. They are cheaper because you can buy them in bulk and wash and reuse them. You can wash them and use them for the next baby, so you do not have that added expense when you have another child. Mostly the materials are organic and natural, which is an advantage to some mums. There is less shopping for nappies, as you can wash and reuse them, which is less boxes and less plastic, and also less queues at the supermarket aisle, and of course it is better for the environment. If you are the kind of mum that likes to have everything to hand and you have a small place, these are great because they fold up into really small spaces. There's a lot of variety and you can use them as your baby grows, as there are lots of room for expansion with these designs. Now the cons. So there is a lot of washing during the day. I guess you can soak them and do a big wash in the middle of the day to avoid too much washing, which can also make that an advantage. You need to think about how many nappies you have for each day, and if you have a backup if they run out or do not dry in time. If you are travelling, you may also need to plan ahead. This can be difficult, as you may also need to purchase bags to put them in until you have access to laundry facilities. Having the odd disposables for these times is a good idea. There are of course hidden costs, which I will go into later on. Size and uncertainty can be a problem, but most of them come with multiple fastenings to allow for different sizes. So to overcome this problem, check with the supplier when you buy them. Now, here are some useful tips to consider when you buy cloth nappies. Try before you buy too many so you can see if they work for you. Once you have chosen your desired nappy, you will need at least 20 to 24 nappies. This, of course, depends on how many times you plan to wash. If you do not want to wash all the washing, you can look for a nappy service. This, of course, is another expense each week. You can use an extra liner to catch all the poo, although bamboo liners are very, very absorbent. I highly recommend bamboo. Using the occasional disposable nappy if you are out for the night is okay in the long run, as you are saving the environment. So now let's go on to disposables. Disposable nappies over the years have taken over cloth nappies as they are so convenient for new mums. But my question to you is this: are they cheaper in the long run, and what impact are they having on our environment? From my research into disposable nappies, I discovered that there are several different kinds of disposable nappies. There are straight disposable nappies and there are biodegradable nappies. And I'm sure there are many more, but those were the two that came to my mind. So let's look into that a bit more in detail. The basic disposable nappy has a plastic outer layer, a soft lining and a layer of super absorbent chemicals, which of course cannot be very good for your baby's skin. There are many different brands of this kind of nappy. The biodegradable nappy is made with non-chemical absorbent materials like bamboo and paper pulp that will decompose over time, which is better for the environment, but are they better for your child? They are still being put into the landfill pile. Now we'll just look into the pros and cons of disposable nappies. Sadly, in this day and age, everything is made for convenience. You simply use it once and then throw it away. I guess that is an advantage if you are not worried about the environment that we live in. Disposable nappies are generally more absorbent, so do not need to be changed so regularly, which is an advantage, although, as I've mentioned, bamboo is a very good absorbent. If you are thinking about the cost, the initial outlay is quite cheap, but the longer term, you may be spending more as your child grows and needs bigger sizes of nappies. If you are travelling, they are so easy and you do not need to soak anything and you can just throw them away. But again, is that good for the environment? There is quite a lot of variety, so you can find one that suits your child's needs. Waste and contamination is not good for the environment. So instead of tipping the whole nappy into the bin, why not empty the poo into the toilet and then dispose of the nappy into landfill? That way you are reducing your methane footprints. There are a lot of chemicals in disposable nappies and they can irritate your baby's skin. Choosing the right size can be a daunting prospect. Most packets of nappies come in multiple sizes according to your baby's age and weight, so you may need to experiment a bit to get the right size for your baby, which can be costly, especially as your baby is growing. So now let's wrap this up with a few home truths. Every child will likely go through 6,000 to 7,000 nappies before they even move onto the undies. That is a lot of landfill if you're using disposable nappies. With cloth nappies, it can be a big cost to outlay at first, but in the long run, you can save when you're buying cloth nappies if you have more children. Terry toweling nappies are a good option, although you have all the pins to contend with these days. It is best to go with ones that have all the poppers and liners with them. It saves you the hassle of pins and plastic pants. Believe me, those are not the way to go. I've experienced that, as I said at the beginning. The prices of nappies vary with different companies. Disposables are definitely more convenient, but have more of an impact on the environment. The cloth nappies that I really like, that I found when I was doing the research for this, was pumpkin pips. And the reason I chose this particular website is because the nappies are bamboo, and I love bamboo as it is so soft on the skin, and it is very absorbent, which is a great advantage when you've got cloth nappies. And Weldy is another one, and this company, the advantage of this company is they also provide a swim nappy. Another swimming instructor, I guess that is something that appeals to me. Reusable nappies are definitely better for the environment than standard disposables. Even biodegradable nappies take decades, some say centuries, to decompose. That's why some companies are making it easier for you to use cloth nappies that are reusable, and they can be used for your next child as well. They also make them easy to adjust for your growing child, so you do not need to buy any more when they get bigger. Here are some of the hidden costs that you may not have considered if you are thinking about cloth nappies. You will need to take these into account. They include laundry costs, electricity costs, the washing and the detergents that you may use, and in some cases water is an extra cost, buckets that you need to use for soaking, and nappy sam that you need to put in, soakers that you'll need to put in there. Now that of course depends, that could be organic or may not be organic, but those are extra costs. And of course baby wipes and creams are also things that you may need to consider. There are lots of different brands out there, then some are natural and some are not. So I hope that covers the hidden costs. There may be a few that I haven't mentioned, but I've tried to cover most things. Thank you for listening to this podcast, and I hope it has given you some helpful advice to the pros and cons of disposable versus cloth. I personally feel that cloth is the way to go these days, as they have come a long way from the old terry toweling with the pins and plastic pants. At the end of the day, it is your choice. Enjoy the time you have with your little one. Here are the two links I mentioned for the nappies. The first one is mybabymassage.net/go/pumpkin pips. The second one is mybabymassage.net/go/bamboo-nappy. I will also include these links in the show notes on my website, mybabymassage.net. these two companies that I mentioned are Australian,